Alright, this is TK Shazam. I'm just a nerd who likes Tekken, and I like Paul. I think he's neat. Today I want to talk about the mental stack. The mental stack, as defined by the Fighting Game Glossary, is how much focus a player can devote to different strategies in a match. You've probably heard this concept before, you either already know it or if you don't, but regardless of whether or not you know it or you do not, you've experienced it, right? How many times have you played in a match against an opponent with a character that you're not familiar with, or maybe you are familiar with them, and they start throwing out options you've either never seen before, you don't have practice against, and then you start going, well, fuck, I gotta keep track of that, right? And that's pretty much it, right? It's all the things you have to keep track of in a game. There's only so much that you can realistically do, right? But it also goes both ways. Just like you, when you have to defend against a bunch of plethora of attacks from the opponent themselves also has to defend from a bunch of different ways of offense Paul has, even though it might not seem like it at first, right? So how does Paul interact with the mental stack? At the most base level, Demoman and any of his lows create this desire or this incentive for the opponent to duck. It might not seem like it at first, right? It seems like, well, yeah, anyone wants to duck Demoman. They get a launch, and also this is a lot of damage. It adds up, right? With 2 Demomans, I've achieved the same amount of damage as some characters like counter hit combos, right? Even if I don't get the just frame. So, but what about stuff like Corsical 4-3, right? Look at the ranges I can do this low at, right? There's nothing scary about Paul, but then all of a sudden, I just got free 17 damage from the opponent for no reason, right? And I can keep doing this until I think, oh, they're gonna duck, and then immediately mix it up with the mid, right? And at each interaction the opponent has, it's not just 1, 2, maybe 3 things. It could be anything. If I'm really up close to the opponent, I can always have at any point start doing mid, start doing down forward 1 into enable, starting up backswing mix-ups, start doing throws, right? So as you're fighting in the match, there are a few philosophies that you can incorporate. Some players, when they play Paul, they go, this is my selection of moves. I will use a jab, a Corsical forward 3, forward 1+2, and that's it, right? And in all fairness, that's all you really need to some degree. And then with simple mixing in different timings and just mixing in mid or low, you can demolish the opponent. For those of you that are either not already subscribed to him or maybe you didn't see it yet, Anakin just posted a video talking about how to download and sort of gain information from the opponent. And in that entire video, he uses Paul, and I don't think I see him use any fancy stuff. It's literally just, here's a jab, here's Hammer of the Gods, here's maybe the occasional Corsical forward 3, but also a lot more Demoman, right? And a mental stack doesn't have to be all these crazy complex things. It could be just as simple as, here's the move, here's the timing, here's the move again at a different timing, and that will completely throw off a lot of opponents, right? The other end of that spectrum is you're a character with a lot of varying options and you want to use them all to wear down the opponent, because now the opponent has to keep track of every single one, right? Like we talked about. If I'm up close to the opponent, they have to worry about jab, they have to worry about down forward 1, forward 1+2, and then at any point you just go jab and then all of a sudden you throw them, right? Or at any point you just go low. Or at any point you suddenly have to sidestep, right? These are a lot of things to keep track of. And as you play, right, as you play more, try to figure out, okay, this opponent seems to have really solid defense. I just can't seem to break through to them. Consider that you're not taxing their mental stack enough, right? Other ways to tax their mental stack is just any big opening with damage will slowly pile up, right? So yeah, you have Demoman at 40 damage, but now, if I wanted to, I just go, okay, wait, Corsical 4-3. Hang back, wait, maybe I'll throw it down forward 2 for keep out, maybe I'll throw out Corsical back 4, oh cool, it hit, 20 free damage. Wait, Corsical 4-3 again. In those small interactions, I've accumulated 54 damage, right? 34 from 2 Corsical forward 3s, and then 20 points of damage from Corsical back 4. And at any of those moments, did I really put myself at that much risk? You can make the argument that, yeah, I put myself at risk to get low parried here, because this is so obvious, because, oh, Paul can't do anything in that range. All he can do is Corsical forward 3, right? And that's when you go, okay, Corsical forward 4. Or if you want to go for a bigger reward, Corsical forward 3+4 into a Death Fist. And now their low parry that was going to net them maybe 40 damage versus Corsical forward 3 gave me a free 60, right? So those are the things to consider, right? How are you going to... You don't always need to use a move to deal with the opponent, right? A lot of it can simply be a little bit of chip damage here, every little opening and opportunity that keeps you safe without putting yourself at too much risk, and then also letting the clock run out. Obviously in practice mode, I have infinite time. I can just spend time waiting and hanging back and then wait for a big opening or opportunity, right? But in the heat of a match, all of a sudden Paul's getting in all this free damage, and this slowly adds up, and the opponent, if they keep being passive, the clock starts to run out and they're going to get timed out, right? So now they're going to go, oh crap, the clock is running down. I need to start catching up, right? And that's where Paul will come in and go, cool, you're pressing buttons, counter hit launcher here, maybe down forward 2 there, or maybe just block, and then all of a sudden block punish, right? Throw out a lot of concepts, but the basic idea, the overall takeaway I want people to get away with, right? The takeaway from this is the mental stack is everything in the game, right? The opponent can only... It feels overwhelming as you're fighting other players and they have to worry and they're throwing all this offense at you and you're still learning and you're not sure, oh god, what do I do? But the opposite is also true, right? As you start fighting the opponent, they have to start dealing with how safe Paul can be while basically getting in all these low commitment attacks, but this chip damage that builds up over time. And now we have literal chip damage with how Corsical back 4 interacts, right? And so when you're facing an opponent that just feels like, man, I'm really never getting an opening, build up that opening. Use a little bit of chip damage, build it up, or make them remember that there's a lot of things they have to keep out for, right? If they suddenly are just standing there, you can demo man them, right? If they start ducking, mid. If they just keep stand blocking, but you don't want to risk demo man, start using throws or other lows. Pretty simple overall, but I want to try and get people thinking more on these concepts. If anything wasn't unclear, if anything can use some more longer explanation, feel free to ask. All right, have a good one.